Everybody, we are here.
Hello.
Yay, we've made it to the last one.
Crazy.
Oh my God, it's so crazy.
The week went so fast.
Oh, I know. It's so nuts. I highly recommend too doing like an event like this that ends on Thursday because you still have Friday.
Yeah.
And then you're like,
totally.
yes. And then it's the
kind of
weekend.
Feels
Perfect.
like Friday today. I
It
woke up and
totally
was
feels
like,
like
it's Friday, but a day too short. So
yeah, Tuesday I thought was Wednesday. I was very confused. I was like, oh man.
Yeah.
But
hopefully everybody's been enjoying their time though. So
I know. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I hope everyone has. Just welcome. This is the last one. It's insane. And sorry, we're running a little bit behind. If you were on our Facebook Live, you totally know that we were running a little bit behind. We got so much fun.
Steezy's just going off Red Bull right now and just
Totally.
into the next one. Yep.
Oh my gosh. Look, guys, when Kendra's good, yeah, I'm just gonna be like, no, real quick though, and then I know we'll get going here, but I just love what Carol said. She's like, holy smokes, is anyone else's brain doing cartwheels with all this information being thrown at us? This is great. I know, even I feel like totally, yeah, even I'm like, this is so much stuff, but so much good stuff. And we're ending, and here's the last one. We're gonna focus, because Cassandra said my brain is on fire. Yeah.
Yes. So I will hopefully take some of the pressure off of that for you, and we can give you a little breather in the next hour.
Yeah, no. So yeah, so we'll have an hour off. Yes. So that's a great thing.
Yes.
But this is the last time everyone's going to hear this. So if you've been joining all of our sessions, you have, again, you probably recite this in your sleep now. You know about Travefy Training Camp certification. If you don't, all of these sessions are equaling up to a certification for you. So you will join 5 of them. And I know that there's obviously only a happy hour left after this, but if you watch the recordings though, watch the recordings. You can watch them on travefytrainingcamp.com. And if you watch them by like tomorrow, anytime tomorrow, really, we'll know that you watch them. But if you watch them like over the weekend, then just maybe shoot us an email on, or really what it is too, is if you watch them on YouTube, because we'll put them up there next week, but just have them done by like Monday. And then you just want to email us at professional@travefy.com and let us know which ones you watched. But again, if you have to sign up your name, if you had to do that, like register to watch it, then we know you were there. So that's kind of how you'll know. But yeah, it'll be really cool. And it just give us about a week or two to get the certification, all that stuff over to you. And it'll be really cool. You'll get a little badge and certificate.
All the cool stuff.
Awesome.
All the gear.
He'll be so cool. But okay, so now this is the last one. Like the next time you hear from us, minus happy hour, will be when we release certification and like the certification. So if you've been watching all these videos, you're going to blaze through certification. I bet you're going to be like, just take me to advanced because I already know everything now. You know, it'll be awesome. And so that's why we created advanced, because we had to up one. We had to give one for people who wanted a little more
level.
Yeah, we needed to do next level. So you'll be able to get those. So remember about this, but they're not available yet. So just keep it in the back of your head. We'll let you know once it is available. And then we also have, the CLIA certification that is already available at certification.travefy.com. So if you are a CLIA member, go take that because you'll get 3 elective credits. And especially, again, if you've been with us this whole week, you'll blaze through it. It'll be awesome.
You'll ace the test.
Totally. It'll ace quick. Yeah, it'll be great. And also, we already mentioned, too, that we're recording all of these. So they will be available at travefytrainingcamp.com. You can go check it out. Watch all of those there. I know a lot of you have mentioned, like, I need to go rewatch because there's just so much. So that's what it's for, Gotta check those out. But then the last thing too to mention before I hand it off to Kendra here is when Kendra's presenting, I'm gonna be in the background doing questions, and I'm going to try to answer as many as possible. Again, I've had Red Bull, so I'm going to be quick, I'll be ready. Yes. So I will try to be ready. There is a likely chance I still miss questions, and I deeply apologize. So send us an email at professional@travefy.com with any of those. But also if I don't answer it, it might be because I'm trying to save it for Kendra at the end if we have time. So it kind of just depends if we have time. So that's how things could get missed. But just throwing that out there. We also offer one-on-one training. So if there's things that you see and you're like, whoa, I need more training on that, let us know. we'll help you out. So it'll be really awesome. But
Yeah.
finally, the last one too is because Kimberly had asked about happy hour. So our next session, I can't believe it. Next session coming up is
Last
officially
one.
happy hour. We made it. But this will be at 4 p.m. Eastern, so in just a couple hours, few hours. And it's going to be on Zoom. It'll be on Zoom meetings, so we actually see your faces and you can talk. So it'll be really cool. So if you go into register on travefytrainingcamp.com, you'll get reminders and you'll have the Zoom link to get on. And you'll just want to make sure that you use the little password Travefy to get in. And yeah, so you should have no problems, but also let us know if you have any questions or anything. But yeah, well, that was my last time saying that spiel. So
Got it
Kendra,
memorized to heart now, right?
yeah,
Yep.
I can't believe it. That deserves a little chug of Red Bull after that.
Yes. Now you can rest the vocal cords.
The vocal cords will get rested
Yes.
with Red Bull.
Yeah.
Perfect.
No, well, excited everybody. Again, it's been great to be talking with all of you that have been coming in asking questions, and also to see some of you on my last session that I did earlier this week. But excited to go into FITs, or how we like to describe it, is flexible independent travel. So how you can kind of customize different itineraries and proposals and get some really unique information in there, and just how to add those in, whether it's from your library, directly creating them in your trip, or pulling them from our database. So we're going to go in through a variety of ways of how to do that today. And I'm going to start to share my screen so that we can just jump right into it and then show those different options. So I'm going to go ahead here, and Stephanie, if you would again just make sure that
Yeah.
I have selected the correct one.
Yes.
And if you can see it come up on your
Smith
end.
family Italian vacation.
That is it.
Perfect.
That is the
There
one
you
we're going to
go.
run with. Perfect. So, like Stephanie said, I've already kind of started to give a framework of this, just to skip some of the stuff that you might already be familiar with all of the trainings that you've been joining in on today. But what we're going to do is start to just build out this trip, add some different activities, different tours, and just kind of highlight how you can really customize this as you're building it. And especially if you specialize in certain types of travel or certain destinations, this is where you're going to be able to really, again, specify these, but also save content for later. So if you want to, create similar trips in the future, you'll be able to reuse some of the material that you've created in these trips. So excited to show you that. Like I said, I've already titled this lovely trip here. And then what I'm going to do is start to jump in and just give it a little bit more color. So we're going to go in, just change this cover photo really quick here. And I'm going to just go ahead and use our database. And we're going to type in Italy, because this is the focus of the trip. Stephanie will actually be taking a trip here shortly to Italy, hopefully this year. So
Yes,
this
fingers
one's for you,
crossed.
Stephanie. Yes, fingers crossed, as long as the world kind of keeps going in the direction it is.
I know. We just remain vigilant and flexible in the travel
Yes,
industry. That's how
flexible is
we work
key.
now.
So what I'm going to do here, I'm just scrolling through, looking for something that's going to pop out at me. This looks like a good image. And then again, this might be a step you guys are already familiar with at this point, but I'm going to just adjust it so that it looks the way I want it to for the cover image, and then just save those changes. And now we have it with that. So the next thing I'm going to do really quick is also go into my settings, and I'm going to go down to the notes section where I can just offer just a little of a description. And this is a great place to, either break down pricing or add additional options or notes, or even just as simple as a welcome message in there. So I have something that I already typed up just to make it a simple process, just to give an example of what this would look like. And then we'll see this at the end whenever I've previewed the trip. And then I'll just go ahead, save those changes. And now we're ready to kind of start rocking and rolling with adding in our different events. So one of those is going to be something also pretty common, but adding in a flight. So we're going to go ahead here and we're going to jump down to our first day, and we're going to click new event and come right on over to flight. So I'm going to click on this, and I've already done my due diligence. I know that flights are constantly changing right now, so I wanted to make sure we would get one that would come on up and is on the same flight pattern. So I did a flight here. So we're going to do with ITA Airways. And then what I'm going to do next is go ahead and add in my flight number and get that information and make sure that it's all correct. So this is exactly what I want. I'm going from JFK today to Rome. And then we're going to just add that on into our itinerary. And that automatically pulls in a lovely departure event here that we can see right in front of us. And then if I come over to the next day, I can also see our arrival event. And then just to get ahead, because I know that we're going to have a return flight as well, I'm going to go to the very end of our trip just to put it in. So we're going to scroll all the way to the very last day, Christmas Eve, coming on back. We're going to go ahead, do that same step again by just adding in our return flights. So very similar information. I think the return flight's only a number off. So I'm going to go ahead 608, add that in, and then we're coming back. And it will do the very same thing. It's going to add a departure and then also an arrival event for us. But yeah, flight's pretty simple. So let's get into where we have a little bit more creativity in here and getting to add some extra kind of flavor that we've either created or can add in more details to. So the first thing that we're going to do is add in a ground transfer from the airport to where our travelers would be going to in Rome. And this is actually something that I created, and you can also create in your library ahead of time so that it's ready, it's saved to go, and you can just pull it over into your trip in a really quick and easy way. So what you can do is when we arrive, which is going to be on our December 14th date, is come over here to our library search, which is right on the right-hand side of our trip builder over here. And then what I'm going to do is just type in private round transfer is what I believe should have came up here. And it might also be under the Smith family, but this is what I had created. I'm going to scroll down so that you can see that in here. And that just kind of is a frame of it. And I actually think I created something a little bit different. So guys, bear with me. I'm going to actually remove this one out here. I'm going to show you how you can delete. You'll come down here to the bottom and just delete that event out. But I'm going to actually search Smith family because I think that's where I had put it. There we go. Ground transfer for the Smith family. So this is going to just add or have a little bit more detail in it than that other one. The other one you can just use it. You might have seen what I had in there. It was just kind of an outline of what information you could include, some phone number, addresses. But this one I specifically had just added in detail from this particular supplier that I wanted my travelers to have their booking through. So you will see that it's a ground transfer. I had created kind of some notes, added in a description of what would all be included in their ground transfer. And then if you scroll down a little further, I also had added in some just vibrant images to show what type of ground transfer would look like, and then some of additional information of the confirmation, maybe a price point. So this was, again, something that I had already created in my event library. And something that you can do. So again, if it's like a transfer or another type of just something quick and easy you want to have and ready to go, you can do that. So that is adding in our ground transfer. Next, we're going to want to add in a hotel for our travelers so that once they're out of the airport, they can go to a place to just relax. So what we are going to do from there is scroll back up to the top, and we are going to create this hotel event right here in the trip builder. So I'm going to keep it on the same day, and I'm going to come back over here to our new event button, and we're going to come down here to lodging. So what we're going to do is I have a particular place in mind that I want these travelers to go to. So what I can do is either manually create this, or I'm going to search for this particular hotel. So I have its title right in here. And then what I'm going to make sure to do is also make sure on my checkout. So you'll see it's already automatically set for the next day, but let's push that out until the 17th here. So I'm going to select that as my checkout. And then if you want to get even more detailed, you can specify the check-in and then the checkout time. So let's just go ahead and do that here. And then I'm going to scroll down just to make sure that I have the right hotel selected in here before I add it to my itinerary. So if I keep scrolling all the way down, I should see that option come up here. So I'm going to go ahead, select that, and then I'm going to go ahead and add that to my itinerary. And very similar to the flights, it's going to create an arrival or a check-in event, and then also a check-out event. But for this particular check-in event, I want to just provide some more detail for my travelers to see, just so that they can have more vibrancy, some images of what their hotel will look like, and just also a description about the hotel location itself. So all that I'm going to do is click into the edit button here. And I'm going to be right in my notes, which comes up right in the middle here for me. And what I can do then is I can go out to the hotel's websites. For this one, I'm just not going to. I'll do this with one of the tours here a little bit later. But again, similar to like the settings in our trip settings, excuse me, in the note section there, you're going to be able to offer in just whatever description you would want to include for the hotel. So I am going to go ahead and copy a description that I had all saved and ready to go. So we have here just a description of the Meridian of Visconti in Rome. So if anyone has been there, feel free to shout out in the comments. But then what I can do after I've added in my description of this, and you can of course get even more detailed than I did. For example, you can go ahead and put what it was booked through, maybe the type of room that this room or that your traveler would be going to, maybe a confirmation number, maybe some additional time or pricing points. You can all include those details in there. What I want to show is how you can add in some images to your events as well through a variety of different ways. So what we're going to do is just come down to click in and add an image. So what I'm going to do first is I have some saved images ready to go right on my device. So if you don't want to use the data base that we had and I used for our cover image, then you can come right over here to these several options that we have listed beside it. So the next one we want to do is upload, because this would be on my device. So I'm going to click from this and I'm going to select these two images that I had saved and ready to go. So once those populate, you'll see that these are the outside images of this particular hotel so that my travelers can see what this looks like. Now, you could also have a particular website that you want to pull images from as well. So in this case, I have the site saved and ready to go. So I'm dragging that over here just so you can see what I'm doing while I'm doing it. But this is the image of one of the rooms here that I might also want to include so that my traveler can see where they're actually going to be staying. So if I want to, I can go ahead and I'm going to just right click on my mouse. And then I'm going to come down here to the copy option, because this is one of the other ways that you can save or add images into different events. And then I'm going to come back over here and go over to the copy option. And then what I'll want to do is come down into that field there. I'm going to then also right click and click paste. And then if that image is going to allow me to save that over, it will populate like it just did. If there was some kind of error, or maybe in certain cases there are security settings that different websites have, it will not allow me to add that image in. So just as a note, if you've ever tried to copy, paste an image, and for whatever reason it's not loading, it could be the settings for that website or for that particular image. There might be just rights protecting that. So good thing to just be aware of if you're trying out that function. But once we've done that, we're going to just go ahead and save our changes that we've made to this event here. I'm going to just keep the hotel information where it is, right down at the bottom, where it is the location as well as the website. And then I'm going to continue on and just click done. So right there, we didn't really even do that much, but we just copied in some text that we had, which you can grab right from the website. We added in some images from the device and also copied over an image from the website too. And that already just changes the look of that event. So really just simple, quick, easy ways that you can change things out, add a little bit more color and vibrancy to the proposal or itinerary that you're working on. But now, after we've added in our hotel, we're going to go ahead and start adding in custom events like tours, excursions, restaurant reservations, just to keep building on this itinerary further. So the next one that I want to go ahead and add in is we're going to go ahead and keep on the same date for now, but let's add a nice reservation for this trip. So this is also one that I created in, which is a dinner reservation for Ristorante Moma in Rome. So what I'm going to do is, let's scroll up here and we're going to search for this. All right. I'm going to do Moma just to make sure that I get the right event to come up here. I'm going to scroll to the bottom and just have that search. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and just click, and you can drag and drop this image this event into this particular day. Or if you don't want to use drag and drop, or if you're working on a device that it might restrict how you can drag and drop, you can always use this little plus symbol right here on the right-hand side of the event, and that will do the same kind of function. So I went ahead, I'm going to scroll a little bit further down, and we can see here that this is again something that I created right in my library and was able to have this nice text, some images. And let's say I want to add something extra to this reservation here. Let's say I want to add maybe a menu or some of the wine selection that this restaurant might include. So that way, when my travelers viewing this information, they can just click right into it and view all of the information. What I can do is, again, click on our edit button here. I'm going to go ahead and scroll down a little bit further. And then what I can do is attach documents to my event. So what I can do is click attach documents. And again, it's going to pull up my device. So if I have those saved and ready to go, I can add those in. So I have their menu and I have their wine selection as well. So those are both things that I'm going to want to add for this event. So I'm going to click first on their menu here. And then I'm going to open this back up and click the menu. I might have actually clicked the wine one first, but either way, that will be once I've added those both in. Now I can go ahead and save those changes here. And when I scroll back up, we'll now see that those are loaded in. So my traveler can go ahead, take a look at those, preview them, and get an idea of what they want to order before they're even there. So after we've done the dinner reservation, I do also want to show we've made our edits here, but there is a way that while you're working on things, maybe I've added something new, like in this case, these menus to this particular event. Maybe I want to save that back to my library. So if I want to make those changes, save them back for future use, I'm going to come back over here, click on the edit button one more time and scroll all the way down. And at the very bottom next to that done button is going to be a 3-dotted button right beside it. If I click on that, I'm going to see 3 options of actions that I can do, which are to either duplicate the event, to save to the library, or to delete it out entirely. So in this case, I want to save this back for my library. I want it with those saved menu choices in there. So I'm going to click on Save to Library. It's going to actually let me know that, hey, you already have this saved to your library. Do you want to continue on and actually kind of duplicate and overwrite this? And if I'm all right with that, I can continue on and click Overwrite Library Event right down here. Or if it's not something that I want to do, if it's really not that big of a deal, I can just click Cancel. But in this case, I'm going to just go ahead and overwrite. And now that those changes were added in, that's how it's going to appear in my library and for whenever I want to add it to different trips in the future. So I'm going to close out of that for now. And then the next thing we want to add in is let's add an excursion for this trip. So we're going to scroll down to a new date. I know we've added quite a bit into this one. And we'll come over here to Friday, the 16th. And what we're going to do now is actually create an excursion event right here in the trip builder. So you can see how I can start to build these really quick and easily from just another website, pulling in information, and then adding some details into that. So I'm going to create this as an activity first. And then once I'm here in my activity, I'm going to go ahead and give this a title. So this is going to be a Colosseum Underground tour for the Roman Forum and Palatine Hill. So I'm going to just go ahead, add that title right in. And then once I've added that in, I'm going to actually go ahead and I'm going to also show you where I'm pulling this information from. So I have found this great personalized tour over here, just a great tour information. And what I'm going to come over and do is just grab some highlights. And this could be something really easy that you copy and then can paste right into the notes section of that event. So let's just copy here, give a little bit of a description of what they can look forward to. I'm going to come back right into my notes section, paste that in, and then I can go ahead, get more information if I'd like. I can add some images like we had done for some of those other events earlier. So if I want to, let's do another copy and paste. We'll see if this also lets us do it too. So this is just kind of giving a preview of what they would see. I'm going to scroll down a little bit further here, add those images in. Yep, and that looks like it's letting us save. So let's just grab a few more images just to give some color to that event. We'll do one more because we actually will be showing something kind of different and cool from some of those other events that we had done earlier. Nope. We'll go back one more to this guy. Paste that. And then what we can also do is I was able to find a video for this particular event. So something that you might not know, or you might have seen on here, but not know how that exactly works, is that you can also add types of media like videos to your events as well. So if there is a video that you want to include for something and have it, this can be embedded into your event so that when your traveler is previewing their trip, they can also watch some of the videos on it as well. So you would just want to make sure that for the videos that they are on a hosting site such as YouTube or Vimeo in order to include those on your different events. So in this case, we do have a Vimeo link that I was able to grab. And what I'll just do then is copy that same kind of theme that we've been doing, then paste that into our field right there. I'm then going to go ahead and add that video. And then if we scroll down here to the bottom of it, we'll see now that it might be pretty faint on that side, but there is a little play button that's on it. So you kind of know that it's different from just an image. And then we can go ahead and save our changes. Now, of course, you can still add a few extra things. I know that we would like to maybe add some more details like time or just where it was booked from. So it looks like this one, when I had been checking it out, starts at, we'll give it a time here of 10:45. We're going to keep the day the same. And it looks like it's a several hour tour. So we can go ahead and add a duration point. So let's just scroll down here. We'll just give it a nice rounded out of 3 hours and 30 minutes. And then we can go ahead, you can leave the time zone as automatic, or we can also search what types of time zone we would like to have included. So in this case, I believe that for Rome, this is Eastern European time or Central European time, excuse me. So what we can do then is just type that in. All right. And it looks like we have several different options in here. So apologies if I do select the wrong one there. I'm going to just go off of that one that we selected. And then of course you can continue, add more details if you would want. But for now, with all the things that we have added in, I'm going to go ahead and click done. And then they get this nice little, again, highlights of what we included in there, kind of the time frame of when they would be there. And at the end, when we're previewing, I will also show you how that video will look and kind of pop up so that when they're scrolling through, they're going to be able to click on that and watch that video of where they will be going for that particular excursion. So after we have added that in, we're going to go down a little bit further and just want to highlight some of the supplier integrations that we work with. So for flights, for cruises, tour databases, lots of different suppliers that we work with. So this is a way that you can also work smarter, not harder, and be able to pull in information from other sources. So that way you don't have to manually create every single event that you want to add into a trip. So where you're going to be able to look for those bookings or tour imports options is same place that we have been, which is right here in the new event button drop down. And then what you can see if we scroll down a little bit further, we have options for cruises, tours, bookings. And again, just check to see if some of your favorite suppliers are integrated in our database. It's something that's always growing and we want to hear what our users work with as well. So we can make sure that we have integrations with those suppliers as much as possible. But for this case, I want to just showcase something of a tour and a tour for this trip. So we'll come down to the tour option here. And this is going to be very similar for the cruises as well. You're going to be able to select the tour line that you want to search from. And actually, I'm going to make sure that I'm in the right date. You will, on some of these, want to make sure that you're sitting on the correct date for the tours or cruises for when they might start, or you might not be able to pull them up in that list for that particular day. So just kind of as a good note to know before searching. But then once I have that pulled up, and I'm actually double checking my dates here, friends, sorry. I'm going to actually come back to December 14th, and we're going to come down to our tour option. And then we're going to come back in and search for that tour that we want to go with or that tour line. So I'm going to pull over something from Avanti. And then next from Avanti, I'm going to search for the best of Italy. So even if I click on that drop down, I haven't even typed anything yet. It is also going to show me what available tours are listed for this day. So in this case, there could be quite a bit, and you will see that we do have a lot that we can scroll through. But in this case, I know the title of this particular tour. So I'm going to go ahead, search that in this field here. So best of Italy. And right as soon as I start to type that in, it's going to pop up for me. I'm going to just go ahead, select on that tour option. And then the next thing I'll do is click to get itinerary. So when I've clicked get itinerary, before I add it into my trip, I can see that it actually lists out all of the different events in this tour, as well as the dates of the tour itself. So I can scroll through if I want to make sure that this is the correct tour, if this is listing all of the correct items before I add it in and I have to, remove everything out. So I'm going to scroll on down. Looks like everything is accurate. So if that is the case, I'm going to go ahead here and just click add to my itinerary. And once that all loads in, which it looks like it did, I'm going to actually just scroll down here before I click in. This is again our December 14th. So we did add quite a bit of information in there. But once we get to the bottom, this is where you're going to see that start of the Avanti tour. So this was all things that pulled over for me. I didn't have to type out anything in there. So you'll see there is just kind of what it includes, a description of what this Best of Italy tour is, give some images. And if we even click down a few days from there, so let's just do 2 days out as an example. This is also when we had added in our Colosseum tour. But if we scroll down further, there's another event from that Avanti tour, which is just describing what they're going to be doing on that day. If we get out of Rome a little bit further, so we saw that there was Florence and Venice also included on this particular tour. Now we see that there is a description of what they would be doing in Florence on that day. So that all added in information with just a few searches and a few clicks. And there wasn't anything really major that I needed to create. Now, with that being said, once this tour information is imported over from that tour search, I can always add more information to it. So if I wanted to go back in, maybe add some additional details, or maybe that I had gone ahead, made some additional bookings for them for a particular tour, I can go ahead, add that in, add more information, or remove information if I would want to. So always a way to customize it, even if it's being imported over from one of our suppliers. But once I have added that in, now let's see if I can add just some general information for my traveler as well. So another point that you can look for and just some general great content to add is with our city guide library. Our city guide library is going to be right over here on the right side. So above the library search that we had already used, we'll just click on this tab here. And this is where you're going to be able to search from over 650 destinations worldwide, which can vary from, just popular tourist destinations, of course, major cities of the world. But in this case, let's go ahead and we're going to search for Rome. And what I'm going to do here is I can add these to any of my days, but something that also is helpful if you don't feel that this information might fit in a particular day is I can actually add this into the information and documents section of my trip. So if I click in there, I can add city guides, which you won't be able to add every type of information into this section here, but with city guides, you would be able to. So it's a nice way that if this is general information that you just want your traveler to be aware of, you can add that in. So what we're going to do is I'm going to just type Rome, and right there that will come up for me. And I'm going to select that option there. And what will come up are a variety of different city guides for that particular city. Some of these, if we scroll down further, are focused on specific areas of interest for travelers, such as dining, 5 secret spots in Rome, nightlife, a whole bunch of variety that you can add in. So I have seen our users add everything, which is this large city guide right at the top. And just as a fair warning, there is quite a bit of information in there. So it does take a little bit of space up in your trip. But if you want to just showcase maybe some of these sub areas down here, you can go ahead and add those in. So let's just say I want to add nightlife information for my traveler. I'm going to go ahead, drag and drop that right in. Then if I scroll down here, I can see that with this city guide, it gives us just a brief description of what the city guide will include. And then it has a bunch of different locations or nightclubs or bars that would be included in that nightlife scene. And same with everything else that I've been kind of highlighting in this webinar session today is that if there is something that you don't want to include in there or you want to add to it, you can do that with city guides as well. So you can just go ahead and click into the edit option there, scroll down, and you can see we have quite a bit of options listed out. So this might be a little too much. Maybe you want to minimize it a bit. All that you would be able to do is click on these little red dots here, and this actually removes those out. So I'm going to just click on quite a few here. And then when I'm click done, you'll see that now it's much more small. So if there's a region that they're going to be checking out, maybe you're aware where their hotel will be, you want to have it a little bit more specified, or you maybe want to add some additional options in, this is a great way to do it. And going one step further with city guides is if we scroll down even lower there on that list, we're going to see that these city guides get broken down into their individual events as well. So if you don't want to include all of those options that we just kind of saw, you can actually pick from these individual ones as well. So maybe you heard that they want to go to the Pantheon or St. Peter's Basilica. Maybe you can add those in just so it just gives additional information about that place for them. And then they can explore and check out those locations. So same thing, you can go ahead, either drag and drop or use a little plus symbol, which will add it right in as well. And even that individual event itself has quite a bit of information in there. So if you haven't checked out city guides yet, highly recommend, just a great treasure trove of info in there that you can use for your trips. So after that, we've added quite a bit in. We've added some excursions, some restaurants, some tours, lots of things for this traveler or this group of family to go on. But some last things here while we're in the information and document section that could be helpful and that you can utilize it for is that you can add things such as waivers or other documents, maybe restrictions that are happening, whether it's for COVID or maybe where they're going, they need additional details. This is a really great spot of where you can add, again, information that might not fit in our particular day, but might still be something that you want your traveler to be able to see. So with that, I'm going to go back to my library search here. And I actually created just a sample waiver, which I'm going to pull up right now, which is the travel protection waiver. And this is actually a PDF that I had created in my library. You can create documents or add documents in there. So if you have just, a checklist or a follow-up kind of protocol or just a general document that you want to share with all of your travelers, this is something that you can save into your event library, have it ready to go, and then drop it right into your trip when you're building that out. So I'm already in my information and documents section. I am going to go ahead, add in that waiver that I had created. And right down here, we see travel protection waiver. It's a PDF. And then my traveler can go ahead and click right into that and view that information or that document whenever they would like to. So it's there, it's in their trip. If they need it, they can quickly reference it. I'm going to go ahead then. And once I've added that in, I've added in all of the information for my trip. The next thing that I might want to do is just quickly preview everything, see how it looks, make sure everything's in the best order. So where I can go ahead and do that is right in my top right corner of the trip builder. I'm going to go over here and click preview. And this is where I can see a lot of the things that weren't as visible when we were actually in the trip builder. So if we remember at the very beginning, we had added in just kind of a brief summary up to the notes section of the settings of the trip. And this is where it previews at, or where it will be listed at. So just as an important note that if you want anything very top of mind for your traveler, they won't miss it. This is where it's going to be displayed. Then if we keep going down here, we're going to see, our flights that we've added in. We're going to see what all of those, different kind of events and notes and transfers that we've included here. We're going to be able to see how those images look and how they display out. We're going to see how easy it is for our travelers to be able to click right into different documents and attachments. Now, I wanted to scroll down a little bit further so that I can get to where we had included the video. So right here, we can see there where we can click and view that option. I'm not going to play it here just now, just for the sake of time, but we can see that that pulls up right in their web view of their trip. So it's something that they can play. They can get excited to see what is going to be included on that tour that they're going on, and also click into additional images too. So just very interactive. And of course, this is quite a bit of a larger trip. So if I wanted to jump around into the different days, see how all of that looks like, I can kind of click in and out of order over here on the left-hand side and see all of that great information that we've added in. So this is kind of a summary of just all of the cool things that you can add and customize, just to get some ideas going so that you can start to create your own library of items that you might want to use, or how you can really, again, specialize it to where your traveler is going, or maybe what type of travel you specifically work in. But Stephanie, I know that there's probably some questions that have been coming in. So I am going to just open it up here, leave some extra time for that, and see what we've got so we can answer those.
Awesome. Yes, there is. That looks
Awesome.
awesome, and you made me really excited for Italy. This
Yes.
looks awesome.
Yes.
Love it. Okay, so the first question, so Ray just asked this, and I put the link in the question, or I put the FAQ
Totally.
in question so people can see. But what if, okay, so Ray said, my business partner and I both have Travefy. How can we share information from our respective libraries?
Well, what a great question, Ray. This is
Yep.
actually something that's brand new. It was released not even a week ago, so brand new, but something that we hope will be a really great tool, especially for that kind of use. So if you are working in a library, but you aren't on a team with somebody, you can share content now in your event library. So I'm going to go over here just to show how this looks, or how this would work. So we're clicking into our event library here. And let's say, you have some great templates of things. Maybe you want to share those documents like the travel waiver, or maybe some of those other events that I had shown here earlier, and you want to share them, with your colleague. What you can do now is actually share those over, and you don't have to even be on a team anymore. You can just go ahead. I'm going to click on my travel waiver here. Now, once we've had that event pulled up, in the right-hand corner of this event, you're going to see this share button. Now, what you can do is go ahead and select Share Library Template to Web. And what this will do is it's going to give you a nice little link here, which you can just quickly copy to your clipboard. And what you'll want to make sure of is, if you want this to be saved to your colleague's library, you want to make sure that this option right here is selected. And also, you probably would want this option, allow in search, selected too. So that way, when they're searching their library, they're going to be able to pull up that event as well. But then once you've copied this, what you can do is just share this via email, chat, text, however you share those items. And what you can do then is, when they pull up the link, we are outside of my Travefy account, so that's probably why it's pulling up. But what they will see here is the PDF. They're going to see that they now have the option to copy to their library. And then they're also going to see a contact button. So if they need to maybe message you about something, maybe message a question about that they have about the event, they can do that too. But that gives the quick and easy option for you now to share all of these different events over with your colleagues. So really, hopefully a really good tool that everyone will be able to use, start building and sharing things with one another.
Yeah, that's gonna be so cool. Well, it's already there
Yes.
technically, so it already is really cool.
Yeah. So check it out, test it out.
Yeah, that would be great. Well, okay, so another question. I was trying to find the FAQ quick enough in my, even the
In
Red
your
Bull couldn't
typing,
get it quick enough,
it's okay.
So I'm
Line
just
is
gonna have
coming.
you show.
Yeah.
Yes, well, um, Shelly was asking about, she uses, or understanding how to use like the booking tool, or
Yeah.
like, so Classic Vacations, for example.
Mhm.
Can you just show quickly where to find that, like how you would do that?
Yes, of course. So where you can do for importing bookings is, we'll go with our Smith Family Italian Vacation. I'm going to jump back in there. And then what I'm going to do is come over here to a new event. So I'll click on the new event button, and I'm going to come down here to booking. So what I'm going to do first is search for my supplier. So if you aren't sure if your supplier is integrated with Travefy, we do have a list of those. So you can just search FAQ, or you can reach out to our team and we can also let you know if they are integrated. But in this case, we have Classics, which is right there, almost at the top, Classic Vacations. So I'm going to click on that. And what it will then do is just prompt you to sign in with Classics Vacations so that you can then start that import process. So I will not be able to do Classic Vacations just in this instance because I don't have those credentials to log in. But again, if you need any help with that process of just getting started or just not sure exactly where to go, let us know. Our team is also here to help. So chat or email us and we'll be happy to help get that running for you.
Sweet. So awesome. Okay. Another one is so this one was just I just put it in, but Sheila asks, is there a free trial period of Travefy?
Yes, there is, Sheila. So you do get a free 10-day trial. If you have, been on a trial years ago, you can also just reach out, let us know. We're happy to just help you get started. Lots of things have changed. So we want to make sure that you can jump in there, try everything out, get a good feel for things. And then also feel free to, get on a training or a demo with us. We want to help show you, get you more familiar with everything too.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Please do. Yeah, you get a lot. You get there's a lot of opportunities to get a lot of training during that
Yes.
trial, which is
Yep.
awesome.
Weekly webinars too. So you name it, we got something for you.
Oh yeah. So another one, so Alan asked, how can you create like a top 5 event with multiple library items? So I'm immediately thinking multi-event.
Gotcha.
And
Yeah.
if you could show that, because
Sure.
that is a big thing that a lot of, especially with FIT showing different
Yes.
restaurants, things to
Yep.
do.
Just things ready to go, saved. So another newer feature that we have is saying multi-events, which Stephanie just mentioned. So something that we can do, and I think that I'm going to just show in the library, the event library first, is going to come over here. You can also build this out in your trip builder, but this might just do a better way of explaining and showing it, is if we click on new library item, I'm going to come down here and select multi-event, which what I can then do is title. So like you just mentioned, top 5, maybe we'll do top 5, jumping all over there, top 5 of Rome. We'll just go with our Rome. And then what I can do is start adding different items in here for that. So any of the top 5 places that I think I would want to, highlight for my traveler, I can go ahead and start adding in. Now, the key thing is that you will want to make sure that any of the items that you're including in this multi-event have been created first in your event library here. So that's where you're going to be able to search from, where you're going to pull those events over. So I'm going to scroll down here a little bit further. These are all bakeries that I had added for a previous trip. So this just, I know might not be in Rome, but kind of gives just the idea of how this would look. So let's just go ahead here. I'm going to add a few of those items in. Let's just do 2 more really quick so we can get it filled out. All right, and 1 more here. And you'll see that once I've added them in, now I have all of those. I added 1 twice. So sorry about that. It will just include in there for me. I can add a label to help organize for this event as well. And then I'm going to just do top 5 bakeries just to make it on point with this theme. There we go. And then once we have done that, we can go ahead, click done. And now this multi-event is saved into my event library. And when I come over back into a trip, I'll just go down here. I'm going to open up in a new day, which doesn't have any events here, just to help show this a little bit better. Scroll down a little bit further. There we go. Okay, we're going to now go ahead and just do that top 5 bakery there. And then when we add that in, it's going to auto populate all of those things that we had saved. So this is a great way to kind of cluster your different activities or events together so that you can just kind of go into each day, drop those in, and fill out those different events really quickly for you. So that's a great way to kind of start to build those out in your library so they're saved, ready to go, pull them over in your trips.
That's awesome. That is so cool. I love that.
Yes,
And
super
also,
fast.
so Alan is the one who asked us, and he said there was a different option. So I accidentally misunderstood that, but this is still helpful to know.
Okay.
Is
Sorry, Alan.
But it's kind of like when you have multiple places in an event. That's what he's wondering. Is what was that? So there was, I think it was maybe the city
The
guide.
city
City
guide.
guides have it,
Gotcha.
yeah, where
Yes.
there's multiple places and how you add like different restaurants in one event.
Gotcha. Yep. Same thing too. Also good to know is that what you can do, we're going to go over, let's do an activity. We'll just add that in here. So what you can do is these are actually, it's not with that one. I apologize. I'm going to go back over here. It's going to be with info. It's getting ahead of myself with city guides. Now, again, this is something that we have our own. You can also create your own too, which is something that if you want to do it for a certain location, you can always get creative with that. But what you can do is actually add in attachments, kind of similar to what we were doing with the multi-event. But if you have events or places saved in your library, you can add them into these here. So let's just say, I'm trying to think, I believe I had like some Southwest items. So I'm going to do Angel's Landing. So as you can see, I'm searching from my library right down here, which is right over here with attachments. So I can search that, and then that adds right into the bottom. I know I have several other trails that I have added over time for some different trips. So I'm going to just add a few in here.
Kendra loves her trails.
I do. I love hiking. I was able to go to the Southwest in 2020, I believe. So that is where I built a
So
lot of
amazing.
content out it. Great. So we're going to do just one more in here, and then I'm going to close out of that. And then we'll save at the bottom. And what we can do, of course, is just add in really quickly so it helps show a little bit better, is I'm going to do Southwest Trails. And then we'll just add to our note section. All right. And then what we could do is go ahead and just save those. And now you can see that we've had those added attachments. So again, key point is just making sure that you have created those places or things that you want to add into these attachments. And then you're going to be able to either build it out in here. You can also build it out in your event library as well, whichever is easier, but just searching and then saving. And then you can go ahead and keep creating different city guides or those multi-events, depending on how you want to use it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so another question here. So I bet we have time for maybe two more. We'll see what we can do here.
Yes.
Is okay, so there's one question, and it's kind of a big question, but an easy answer is,
Sure.
how do you recommend that we build our library? And my instant reaction is think about what you use most of the time. Like think 75% of the time and do that.
Yes, I would definitely second that. You don't have to save every single thing to your event library. You don't want to, have every single restaurant. But there are things, especially if you work again with a specific type of destination or area, that there are things that you probably want to recommend, or there are certain resorts or lodging options that you want to usually share with your traveler. So think of those. And then at the beginning, I know that I had accidentally meant to do this, but there was more of a template that I had created for, it was, I believe, just the car transport from the airport. Having templates ready to go and saved is also a really great way to just have them in there. So that way, depending on how they're being used or when they're being used, if they're being used for different types of people, you can add in those extra details really quick and easy, but the bulk of that event has been created. So just exactly what Stephanie said, make sure that you're not needing to create and save every single thing. And also when you're getting started, like for example, if you're testing around things and you're, adding in different items, you can save right from your trip builder. I might have showed that once or twice, but this is a great way that while you're creating a trip earlier on in your process, you can actually do two actions at the same time. You can create that event, but then you can also save it to your library, which really quick, while we're talking about it, I will just show, I'm going to go down to, we already did that transfer. We can save this tour option here. So I can just, again, click edit. I'm going to scroll down to the very bottom, and then I will just go ahead, save to my library. So I know that we had did that at least once, but just again, if I had added this in here, I'd already gone through those steps, just save myself an extra kind of process for the next time. And I have this ready and saved into my library, so I don't have to worry about creating it again. So yeah, just kind of think of the things that you know you're going to use in the future. And now you also have ways that if you've seen something great on maybe a colleague's trip, you can also get those items shared and saved over into your library too. So now there's more ways of how you can build it out just outside of
Yeah.
yourself.
Yes. Oh man. Oh man, especially just I always love, so Ralph just said, because I was going to mention this actually, Ralph,
Oh, good.
we're on the same
Same
wavelength
train
here.
thought.
Yes, is make sure to use labels. Yeah,
Yes.
so
Yes. Great
the
point,
text,
Ralph. Thank you.
yeah. So I think, can you just show that really quick, the
Yeah.
labels are in the library? You might
Yes.
have already done that, but
I don't believe I did add any
oh,
labels to these. So great catch there, Ralph. But labels are an awesome way to keep organized in your library. So while you're building out, while you're getting your content created, you want to make sure that you're also organizing as you go, because the more content, the more kind of chaotic it could get. But we're going to just do that same process that I just did for this event by saving to the library. And then I'm going to come down here to the label section. So you probably have seen this if you've ever saved. And this is just where you can create your own different labels to help organize. We typically suggest at least 1, 2 labels to kind of get them organized in your event library. So in this case, this is a place taking, or this is an event, excuse me, taking place in Rome. So I can click Rome here, and maybe I'm going to add something like it's a tour. I have walking tours as a label that you'll see coming up here for me because I've already created that. But I can also just leave it as tour and create a whole brand new label right here, which I will do right there. And then now I have those 2 labels saved. I'm going to overwrite that library events, which is really smart. So now it'll be in there with those saved labels for me. I'm going to go ahead and just complete and be done with that event. And I'm going to go into my event library really quick just to show where those labels are. So now that I'm in my event library, over here on the left-hand side are all the labels that I have already created. So these are ones that I can search. I can select them and see what pulls up for them. So we're going to scroll all the way down to Rome really quick. And then we can see that when we select Rome, all of those items that had that label attached to it are going to pull up for me. So that way I can also quickly find things that way. And when I'm in my trip, I don't have to also just search by the whole title of that event. I can search via label too. So if you type Rome, anything that has that label applied to it will pull up in that search. So really great way to just be able to search really quick and efficiently without digging through all the stuff you've saved.
exactly, yeah, and you were actually showing it right then, but someone had asked, "Can you do the labels afterwards?" Because yeah, we
Yes.
totally understand. There's probably I cannot tell
I'm
you how many
guilty.
users,
Yeah.
yeah, have came in and they're like, "Oh, I need to do that,
Yes.
this week. Like,
Yep.
need to do the organizing."
Yep. It is really quick, but if you need to, you can just, we'll go down here to one right there. We can add a label. I'm going to make it a little bit more visible here. We're going to just do, let's say, I think this is just for the restaurant. So we have a label created for that. So yeah, you can just go ahead, start adding those in really quickly. I have a lot of items that are unlabeled, so don't look at mine as it's a bad example, but that's just really quick and simple how to do that and get those in there so you can organize
Yeah.
everything.
It's so great. Oh
Yes.
man, well, okay, we did it.
We're here.
We're
We're at
right up on the hour.
time.
I know we gotta. I tried to get us so many. I feel like I did a lot
Yes.
of question answering, but I also know there's definitely some that are still lingering. So
Send them
again,
on over.
yeah, come on over into
Yes.
professional@travefy.com, shoot an email,
Yep.
and then chat us in your account,
Yep.
schedule
Right down
training.
here. So right there, please do. We want to see those
Mhm,
questions. We know that there's a lot of them, or we can always schedule a training with you too. So if you need
mhm.
more in-depth kind of one-on-ones, we can always get that set up too. So we can get those questions answered that way and just
Yeah.
show everything in there too.
Yeah, it'll be really helpful. So
Yes.
definitely hit us up if you need us. But otherwise, that concludes. Oh my
All the
gosh.
webinars.
That is
That's
that. So I
it.
can't say necessarily, yeah, Travefy Training Camp 2022
We're not
because
done yet. Yep.
Yeah, we have the big fun one. So we hope to
Yes.
see you in under an hour. And remember to go register on travefytrainingcamp.com. And then basically what it is it's just you just want a link to join Zoom, and then you'll just use the password Travefy to get in that. And that's all you're going to do. So it's going to be a meeting style, Zoom meeting style. So we'll actually be able to see everyone's faces, and it won't
Yeah.
be, you know,
Get to
we will
chat with you
actually,
all.
we'll get to see you. So it'll be really cool.
Yes.
So,
Bring your beverage of choice. We're all
mhm.
going to have a fun time with each other.
Oh, yeah, it'll be fun. So hopefully we get to see you there, everyone.
Yes.
And thank you again, and we'll see you soon. See you
See you
very
soon,
soon.
everybody. Thank
See ya.
you. Bye.